Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl in your face while you're sleeping. 10 ways to open a door without a key. Knowing how to unlock a door without a key is a nifty little trick that comes in handy when you've had one too many to drink and accidentally lost your key. Or maybe you're locked out of your room because your roommate wants to have some alone time? These are just but some of the scenarios in which it helps to know how to unlock a door without a key. That being said, let's take a look at 10 pretty ingenious ways to open a door without having a key. Number 10. Picking the lock. In order to pick a lock, you must first know the lock. Indeed, you need to be familiar with the parts of a lock and the way these parts work in conjunction with one another. If someone were to oversimplify the process of lockpicking, they would probably tell you that the aim of lockpicking is to imitate the process of a working key. All locks can be picked, but that doesn't mean picking them is going to be an easy task. Most of the locks that the average person will come across in a residential or commercial setting are pin tumbler locks. However, there are other locks that can be used as well. For instance, Mortise locks are extremely popular in commercial settings because of their durability. However, the locking mechanism on car doors is not the traditional pin tumbler lock. Instead, car door locks usually employ wafer locks and sliders. There are more efficient ways to bypass a car door lock, so you won't find most people picking these locks. Since pin tumbler locks are easier to tackle, I'll be explaining how to go about this. The core components of a basic pin tumbler lock are the key pins, driver pins, plug, and springs. When you insert the right key, the plug is able to rotate. These elements work together to execute the locking and unlocking motion of the lock. The key pins correspond to specific groove cuts on a key, and these are the main elements that are targeted in the attempt to unlock a door without a key via lockpicking. If you want to pick a lock, you will need some basic lockpicking tools. Common examples of improvised lockpicking tools are bobby pins and paper clips that can be bent out of shape to fit your lockpicking needs. So, in order to unlock a door without a key, you will have to imitate the action of the key itself. To accomplish this, you can either make use of raking or simple pin picking. These are lockpicking methods that will help you unlock a door without a key. By implementing these methods, the hope is to manipulate the pins that are housed within the locking mechanism. Essentially, by raising the key pins to the shear line and pushing the driver pins above the shear line, a gap is created that facilitates the rotation of the plug. Once this has been accomplished, you should be able to unlock a door without a key. Number 9. Bumping the lock. Lock bumping is often exploited by criminals and burglars to gain illegal entry into people's homes. However, if it is used in the right way by the right people, lock bumping can help you unlock a door without a key. The main issue with this, however, is that many property owners have actively instituted security measures to prevent lock bumping, so it might not help you if your door locks have some anti-bump features in place. Also, bump keys do not work on cars, so it is not a viable solution for unlocking a car without a key. Lock bumping also has its own unique set of tools which are fairly easy to get a hold of. For starters, you will need a bump key to successfully bump a lock. Key? Aren't we supposed to be figuring out how to unlock a door without a key? No, a bump key ain't your average key, which means that you are still technically going to unlock a door without a key. A bump key is a specifically fashioned key that looks to actively exploit the key pins and driver pins inside a pin tumbler lock. The grooves and cuts of the bump key are designed at their maximum depth so that they can be used on multiple locks. However, the key has to at least match the keyway of the lock it's being used on. To bump a lock, the bump key is inserted into the keyway, and pressure is applied via a hammer or a screwdriver. The pressure exerted on the bump key causes the key pins to push the driver pins above the shear line. At this exact moment, if the right amount of torque is applied, you will be able to unlock a door without a key. Number 8. Using a credit card. Using a credit card is another popular lock bypass method that can be used to unlock a door without a key. The term credit card is loosely used to refer to a plastic resin material that can be wedged into a door and used to force the lock open. However, this process is not effective against deadbolts and high security locks. It is often used on simple latch locks that are using a slanted latch bolt, but is only successful if the lock is not paired with a reinforced strike plate. The aim is to target the slanted bolt and forcibly retract the latch that is keeping the door locked in place. It requires the application of a bit of force, which is why it is crucial to make sure that the material you're using is sturdy enough. To properly carry this out, angle your card towards the side of the latch bolt that is slanted. This will allow you to push against the latch bolt and pry it loose from the strike plate that it is resting in. While you are pushing the card down against the angled latch, you should simultaneously apply pressure against the weight of the door. This application of pressure helps you push the door open and unlock it. Number 7. Drilling a lock. Drilling a lock is a form of destructive entry, which means that if you use this method to unlock a door without a key, your lock will be damaged and rendered ineffective. If this is the case, you will have to acquire new locks and have them professionally installed. I do not suggest using this method until you have exhausted all other options. There are several different things you must do before you drill a lock, so do not rush to carry out this action simply because you want to unlock a door without a key. It is important to be mindful of the fact that drilling a lock is not exactly an easy process, especially if you're not so sure about what you're doing. Generally, the process should take a few minutes, but if you do not properly align the drill at the top of the keyway, it can take much longer. As with all the processes above, there are some tools that you will need to utilize when using this method to unlock a door without a key. To drill a lock, you will need an electric or battery-powered drill, an appropriately sized drill bit, lubricant for the lock, and a screwdriver. The aim of this process is to use the brute force to overpower the core of the locking mechanism. Essentially, you need to drill the lock at the shear line in such a way that forcibly separates the driver pins and the key holding the lock in place. Once this is done, you will be able to rotate the plug and unlock a door without a key. Number 6. Focusing on the door. Another way to unlock a door without a key is to simply work on making the door and its accompanying door lock somewhat irrelevant. This can be done in multiple ways. One of the most common ways to accomplish this is to kick the door down or ram it so that the lock is dislodged from the door jab. Another way to accomplish this is by removing the hinges on a door so that the lock is rendered ineffective. Ramming a door or kicking it down places a considerable amount of pressure on the lock that is keeping it secure. But you should know that this will cause damage to your lock to the point where you will require damaged lock repair services from a locksmith. Many people think this is a fair exchange until they realize a broken door lock can be more serious than you think. Similar to the process of drilling a lock, this method looks to forcibly circumvent your locks. To ram a door, you need to focus your energy on the points that really matter. This can either be the door lock or the door hinges. The goal here is to exert enough force that dislodges the lock or the hinges from the door. On the other hand, the process of removing your hinges is a more subtle way of getting around your locks. There is a smaller chance that your locks will end up damaged, but the process is not entirely foolproof. This method only works on outswing doors where the door hinges are left exposed. Since the hinges are left exposed, you can use a flattened screwdriver to remove the hinge pins that are propping the door up. However, be wary of the fact that removing your door hinges places the entire weight of your door on your door lock, which might cause the lock bolt to bend out of shape. Number 5. Using bobby pins. Bobby pins can open a lock door similar to a lockpicking set, but will require more focus and patience. You'll need 2 bobby pins bent in a specific shape, as both will play an important part in this action. One pin will mimic the key, so bend it near the fulcrum so it's perpendicular to the 2 free ends. Stick this part at the bottom of the keyhole. Bend the second pin and the fulcrum to form a long, straight piece. Curve only one end slightly to form a pick. This goes at the top of the keyhole. The objective is to push each individual locking pin out of the way, which will allow the locking cylinder to turn. Number 4. Screwdriver. Another great tool to use is a screwdriver. A small or thin screwdriver will work best on interior doors or doors with privacy handles. Simply push the screwdriver into the hole of the doorknob straight through for as far as you can. Then, turn or twist the screwdriver until the lock opens. You can also use a slotted screwdriver to open a spring lock if you wedge it between the bolt and the frame. Then, wiggle the screwdriver until you push the lock back into the door. Screwdrivers can also remove the hinges from your door if needed. Number 3. Scrubbing/raking method. Scrubbing is a fast and dirty way to get the job done on most locks. It's an art. You need to develop a feel for the technique and how it works with each different lock. Despite the reliance on feel, the steps are largely the same for scrubbing most locks. First, insert the tension wrench into the bottom of the keyhole. Next, try applying pressure. The tension wrench should rotate the lock cylinder slightly. Don't press too hard or you risk bending the lock cylinder and making it more difficult to pick. Next, try inserting the pick rake at the top of the keyhole and slide it into the back of the lock. Lift the rake upwards into the pins and draw it forward. As the pick slides across each pin, it will lift the pins upward into position. Hopefully, the lip of the slightly turned cylinder will catch and keep them in place. Repeat steps 2 to 3 until all the pins are in position and the cylinder turns further. Turn the lock cylinder with gentle pressure on the tension wrench and open the door. And now we've come to the best pick of the day. Using a banana to open a door lock? I don't think this is practically possible in this dimension or the next. I mean, bananas are just too soft to get the job done. Maybe the twig of a passion fruit could do the trick? Number 2. Bend the door frame. If all else fails, you can always grab your vehicle jack and try bending the frame out of the way. This is a method that law enforcement uses to open stubborn doorways. To bend the door frame, a high-lift jack or hydraulic bottle jack is usually best. These are high-capacity jacks that will allow you to put a lot of force on the door frame at very specific points. First, place the jack sideways from the hinge side to the latch. You may need to add blocks if the jack is too small. The blocks will help to raise the jack. The point is you need the jack to press outwards on the door frame. If the frame is wood or sheet metal, you'll see it bowing outwards under pressure. Once you have enough of a gap, you should be able to pop the latch free and open the door. Picking locks is a great survival skill to have in your back pocket. They don't require much in the way of tools, but do require dedicated practice. Make a game of it. Try picking your own door locks and your friends. So, put the time in and learn how to pick locks and open doors. You may just find yourself able to get out of a sticky situation, or into a locked cupboard full of snacks. Number 1. Calling a locksmith. This might sound a little out of place, especially in comparison to the methods that were described above. However, calling a locksmith is sometimes the best solution to unlocking a door without a key. Some people tend to avoid locksmiths because they are unsure of some of the processes and expectations of calling a locksmith. A locksmith is always there to help you. You simply have to find one you trust and reach out to them for assistance. In some cases, you will simply need them to unlock a door without a key, while in other cases, you might need them to fashion a new key, carry out a broken key extraction, or install a completely new lock. Regardless of the service required, a locksmith will be able to assist you in unlocking a door without a key. For the most part, a locksmith will attempt to pick or bump your lock, and this usually works. However, if these methods prove unsuccessful, the locksmith will drill your lock out to unlock the door without a key, and then subsequently install a new lock for you. Overall, it is much more efficient to call a locksmith to tackle these problems, rather than attempting each of the above methods yourself, especially if you are not the most DIY-savvy homeowner. If price is your concern, taking a look at most standard locksmith prices will show you that in terms of time and money, calling a locksmith is actually one of the cheaper options. And, with that being said, we've come to the end of this video. So, have you ever used any of the mentioned techniques to open a door lock before? Let us know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel as we produce new content every week.